Sup, fam? How y'all hanging in there? Mercury retrograde, woo! Friday the 13th weekend, woo! Yes, I just got in from work. As you can tell, I'm all disheveled and crazy and insane. A storm blew in late, so that was cool. All the wind started picking up and heat lightning, and now there's kind of a thunderstorm starting outside, so I'm cozy, I'm safe. Everything's wonderful. We're doing our secret sermon late night, and a shower is waiting for me soon, so, and a hot meal, so I'm happy. But I'm tired, as I always am on our secret sermons. So yeah, if you have no idea what's going on, you're like, who the fuck are you? I do not know what you're talking about. We are doing our late night secret Saturday secret sermon, secret teachings of Jesus, secret. Yeah, so the Jewish sages believe that late night study is actually very beneficial, and it reveals even more light because we are, for one, pushing ourselves beyond our comfort zone and pushing our bodies beyond their limits to stay up and study. So we're making a sacrifice, and we are breaking the flesh to release that energy and that to allow that light to come in. So that's our sacrifice. But also we're in a liminal space around midnight and after midnight, and we're between, the end of one day and the beginning of another. So whenever we're in those liminal spaces, there's like this, the veil is thin. There's an opening there, an opening to access that pure divine light, that pure divine energy that brings us opportunities and blessings and motivation and inspiration and maybe a change of outlook or a change of experience or perception. So that light is the light that comes in and makes us magnetic for manifestation or to receive blessings. And so if we don't prepare a vessel for that, we can't contain it. And the vessel, I believe, is like mainly our faith and our self-worth, because our faith is going to determine our certainty in the Creator and in the fact that there's like a divine intelligence or an order behind things, and that everything can be turned in your favor if you're certain that it can. And certainty beyond reason in a trans-rational state where you've been pre-rational, you've been rational, and now you have transcended rationale, and you no longer need a rational explanation to know that something might be true or to believe in something. So we are building the vessel after midnight in this liminal space between worlds, and yeah, we are studying the secret teachings of Jesus from the Gnostic Gospels, and we've been working through the secret book of James. James is in Jesus's brother. And a little context around what's going on. So in a lot of the Gnostic Gospels, they take place after Jesus was crucified and resurrected, and there's like this liminal space again where before Jesus ascends fully to heaven and beyond through the mysteries of the realms, he is tying up loose ends with the disciples, because the disciples are very attached to his human form and are still feeling a bit insecure to let him go, and they're still feeling very reluctant to take on the mission and the message, and they're still trying to really grasp what it all meant and what all just happened and who Jesus was. And Jesus is coming back, and he's kind of blunt with them a lot, and he's always concerned that he's like, who is gonna know what I have said here if we are relying on you guys? You guys are my team. You're my teachers to go out and spread the word, and you think that you know what I'm talking about, and you really think you've understood me, but the worst part is that I don't think you have. Like, a couple of you have, like Mary Magdalene has, a couple of others have picked up on some things, but overall, he was pretty concerned that they had kind of missed some of the bigger points, which, you know, all of the sort of like mystic nature of things did sort of get swept away. And, you know, people's consciousness couldn't really contain a lot of the mystical secrets because they just weren't as consciously expanded or evolved in as many numbers as there are now. That's why all these teachings were very secret for so long, but they're coming out in the open now because over time, it's taken us 2,000 years to just barely evolve enough to be like, all right, let's stop raping the women. Like, you know, let's, you know, everybody calm down. And it still was like a huge upheaval, the women's movement a few years ago when like the Time's Up and all of that was going on, right? I mean, like, it was like, I was like, why are people so upset? We're just like, stop raping us. And everybody's like, well, they've gone too far this time. So I'm always like, we have barely come any further than what we were at, or how the level we were at 2,000 years ago, but inching along. But I think people are starting to awaken in larger numbers. And I think that people are kind of grasping concepts that they couldn't grasp at the time, or at least not commonly. And so it was really these teachings, and Jesus had a whole separate bunch of teachings that he would only give the people who were like super wise and like really understood what he was, you know, getting at, which was one of those people was Mary Magdalene. And so he talked to James, his brother. And I think there's even some secret teachings that he gave Judas. So we are in the secret book of James. And we will read through the portion, or I will read through the portion because I am alone in my house. And I'm not crazy. And you will be listening, and I'm going to read it probably poorly, and we'll go through it once, and then I'll go back and sort of unpack it. And I think that this one is going to be kind of direct and straightforward because there was only really 2 points, and they kind of tied in together. So this might be a very digestible portion. All right, get ready. So this portion is called Know Yourselves. And I like that, okay, I'm always cracking up because Jesus is such a sassafras. He's always like had it up to here with everyone. He's just like, you guys are such pitiful fools. I worry for you. I really do. Woe to you. But yeah, I don't know. Jesus cracks me up. I mean, people that, like, sensitive people now that are always like believing in that porcelain plate Jesus, that are, you know, they think that Jesus is like super nice and just like sweet and nice to everybody. Like, I don't even know if they would like Jesus if they met Jesus, because Jesus will call a motherfucker out. Like, he will just like straight up say it, and like, he's not trying to spare feelings. He's compassionate, he's kind, but he's straightforward. And sometimes he gets a little bit like short and ill with people, and I just really love that. I just love Jesus. All right. Okay. We're really starting this time. Okay. Know yourselves. When we heard this, we became sad. They're always sad. They're always like, Jesus hates us. When we heard this, we became sad. But when he saw that we were sad, he said, I say this to you that you may know yourselves. Heaven's kingdom is like a head of grain that sprouted in a field. And when it was ripe, it scattered its seed, and again it filled the field with heads of grain for another year. So with you, be eager to harvest for yourselves. Oh, again, poorly. So with you, be eager to harvest for yourselves a head of the grain of life. Oh my God. Y'all. I'm going back and reading the sentence again. I'm going back 2 sentences before. Heaven's kingdom is like a grain of sand that sprouted in a field. And when it was ripe, it scattered its seed, and again it filled the field with heads of grain for another year. So with you, be eager to harvest for yourselves ahead of the grain of life, that you may be filled with the kingdom. So that you may be filled with the kingdom. Oh my God, like you guys, this is hilarious. So with you, be eager to harvest for yourselves ahead of the grain of life, that you may be filled with the kingdom. Like, I don't think I've ever had to read a sentence like 6 times straight. It's just such a weird cadence. And as long as I am with you, pay attention to me and trust me. But when I am far from you, remember me. And remember me because I was with you and you did not know me. Blessed will they be who have known me. Woe to those who have heard and have not believed. Blessed will they be who have not seen, but yet have believed. So I'll say that again. Blessed will they be who have not seen, but yet have believed. Once again, I appeal to you. I am disclosed to you as I am disclosed to you as I am building a house useful to you when you find shelter in it, and it will support you. Hold on, I gotta read that again. Once again, I appeal to you. I am disclosed to you as I am building a house useful to you when you find shelter in it, and it will support your neighbor's house when theirs threatens to collapse. I tell you the truth, woe to those for whom I was sent down here. Woe to those for whom I was sent down here. Blessed will they be who are going up to the Father. Again, I warn you, be who are going up to the Father. Oh, blessed will they be who are going up to the Father. Again, I warn you, you who exist. Be like those who do not exist, that you may dwell with those who do not exist. Do not let heaven's kingdom become a desert within you. Do not be proud because of the light that enlightens. Rather, act toward yourselves as I myself have acted towards you. I have put myself under a curse for you, that you might be saved. Okay, that was the worst I've ever read anything, ever. So let's start back and we'll unpack. When we heard this, we became sad. But when he saw that we were sad, he said, I say this to you so that you may know yourselves. So I think that when they're like, know yourself, I think that Jesus is always very concerned that the disciples are always like, what do you want us to do, Jesus? What do you want us to say? What do you want us to think? And he's like always telling them that he basically is like, I'm worried about you because like what we really need for you, what you really need for you is to have sovereignty over your own mind and feelings. You are in danger when you are looking for someone to tell you what to do or how to live or to validate you or to give you permission or direction. And you're afraid and you're uncertain, you're easy to manipulate and control at that point, you know? And so what you need is to know who you are. What do you think? What do you value? What do you feel is right and wrong? You know? What do you not value? What do you not care about? What is not authentic to you? What do you think? What's your opinion? What do you care about? Like, it matters. Like, matter to yourself enough that you matter because you matter, right? So I think Jesus just wants people to have, like when he's talking to his disciples, he's like, look, I need you to know your own mind because you need to be able to take authority over your life. You need to be able to be the master of your ship and the steerer of your sail. And you need to be able to own what you think so that you can have revelation to expand what you think and like what you feel. So know yourself, know who you are. You know, just know what you think, like have an opinion. And don't just pick an opinion, make sure that it's true for you, that it's true to you, that it is authentically how you feel and that you have integrity. Heaven's kingdom is like a head of grain that sprouted in a field. And when it was ripe, it scattered its seed, and again it filled the field with its heads of grain for another year. So with you, be eager to harvest for yourselves ahead of the grain of life, that you may be filled with heaven's kingdom. And so heaven's kingdom is a state of being. It's a state of inner peace, ease, fulfillment, harmony, flow, radiance, health, joy, goodness, all of those fruits of the Spirit. That is heaven's kingdom. It is a deep and abiding sense of well-being and eternity. And I think, to me, you know, what I've been learning, or the way I've been looking at eternity or eternal, is not so much like a timeline, but something that's perpetual, like the sun. Just pretending that the sun is never going to run out, because I mean, like, it will, because it's a star and it's finite, but pretend like it's infinite. So the sun, for the most part, is consistent. Like, it's always radiating light. We want to be consistent with that. We want to be consistent with the light, because if we are easily swayed this way or that, or we're reactive in life instead of solid and grounded and anchored, then we can be controlled, we can be manipulated, we can be used as pawns in the big scheme of things. You know, we'll get ripped around and chewed up and spit out. So it's important that we know who we are and what we want, and that we can tune in and not need validation from others, so that we can, or permission, so that we can actually obey or follow the guidance that we're being given. I hate to make it sound like obey, like we have like this authority figure who's always like bossing us around. What I feel is that the divine guidance pushes us towards the thing that's going to bring us the ultimate fulfillment, the ultimate joy, the ultimate happiness, the ultimate sense of purpose, and that's going to incorporate the things that bring us joy, passion, the things that we're talented at, the things we're good at. I think that we were given those desires for a reason. And yeah, sure, you can have toxic desires that aren't good for you that you need to be discerning about. But overall, I think that we've been given certain dreams and certain feelings about things for a reason. And all we can do is our best with them and try to interpret them, you know, the best we can, right? And use them for good, and try to expand in our potential. So the heaven's kingdom is a seed, is like the head of a grain that sprouted in a field. So the teachings that Jesus is giving his disciples, he wants them to, he knows that these are like big mystical cosmic ideas. And it's not like you just, I mean, you can hear it and have a revelation and just grasp it and immediately know, like, understand it. But sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes hearing something and processing it and hearing it again and again, and then seeing it in a different context. And the seed is planted and it grows into something that matures and bears fruit. And then that fruit has a seed and it keeps going. Jesus was always talking about his word like a living word, you know, and he talked about it being like a vine and not wanting it to be only that one vine that bore fruit the once, but to like continue on into a vineyard. Jesus was hoping that his disciples would have enough certainty and confidence in themselves and know themselves enough so that they could take his teachings, live them, incorporate them, embody them in their own lives, and then experience that firsthand and know that firsthand, and then develop wisdom about that would expand and take on a life of its own. I don't think that Jesus wasn't like, this is my one and only album that I'm dropping. Like, he was like, I want you to take the work, and I want it to continue to evolve and to expand. And they were just not super like confident with the material. Everybody was just like, I'm still not getting it, but they thought they were. I don't know. They're missing a lot of the depth, and they were really caught up in modern times we refer to it as 3D world. Like, this is the world that we live in and like make a living in and like come and go and all that. This physical world is our 3D world. But the 5D is that world beyond time and space, beyond the physical. And that's really real. And this physical world, the 3D, is more like an avatar, and it's kind of an illusion. Because what happens beyond this is eternal, it's consistent, and we are eternal within this physical realm. But once this physical realm, if we're not here, like there's still a part of us that still is eternal and exists and is continuous. So he wanted all of this wisdom to grow and to be nurtured and to plant seeds and then to keep producing more and more fruit. Philosophy to keep expanding, to keep asking the questions, to keep pushing and growing and evolving. So with you, be eager to harvest for yourselves ahead of the grain of life that you may be filled with the kingdom. And also the more that we the more that we nurture and cultivate those seeds within us, the more that we put our mind on these things, the more that we start just aligning with that and having affinity of form with that. And it starts to work its way kind of like in an automatic programming into our life. And so our life changes and we have more ease and we have more understanding, and we can kind of see how things are connected and how they're kind of playing out. And as long as I am with you, pay attention to me and trust me. But when I'm far from you, remember me. And remember me because I was with you and you did not know me. So while he's with them, he's like, pay attention to me while I'm here. Like, listen to what I'm saying. But once I'm gone, remember everything that I've said. And keep remembering it and keep thinking about it. And eventually that seed will sprout within you. But right now, you still aren't quite there. You did not know me. Meaning, you did not have an embodied experience with me to the degree that you fully grasped the deeper truths and were able to live them. Like up until the very end, the disciples were still like literally thinking that they were going to take over the government. And that they were like, so Jesus, are we going to like, am I going to be in your cabinet? Like, make me the head of treasury. Like, they didn't really get the whole point. The whole point was that Jesus was like, I'm telling you these mystical secrets. I'm literally a sacrificial lamb on my way to the slaughter. The whole plan is that I am killed as a martyr, as a political martyr, and this is going to be a mystical sacrifice, like beyond this world, but also in this world. This is going to be such an intense experience, an event, that it is going to make an impact for, thousands of years to come or whatever. And so, yeah, they weren't understanding that was the whole point, and that he was like really willing to die for his cause, and that he was happy to do it. I mean, not happy to do it, but like he wouldn't have fought. He knew that was the plan. The plan was to open our hearts and begin to love one another and stop arguing amongst each other, and to make sure that everyone is like well taken care of and fed. Everybody's got their basic needs. You know what I mean? Like, he was trying to bring oneness and unity and cooperation. And the disciples were kind of like, yeah, it's all about a power struggle, and like, we're going to be in charge. And, they were kind of hung up on those like very physical 3D world concerns. Like, instead of being concerned about the state of your heart and like, are you bitter? Are you cold? Are you kind? Are you generous of spirit? They might be more concerned with the day-to-day mundane like rules. It's like that whole religion versus spirituality. Some people find religion to be just stiff and legalistic and rules oriented, and it has no intimacy or depth beneath it, and vice versa. Remember me because I am with you and you did not know me. So yeah, they did not know Jesus. They didn't have that embodied experience where they were able to think the way that Jesus did with that level of consciousness and then incorporate that into their life yet. They have not had that experience. And so he's saying, like, keep remembering me, because the work isn't finished. There's unfinished business here, and there's still something that you need to catch on, and it will continue to unfold and bloom and blossom for the rest of your life. Like, it's an eternal living word. So keep remembering it. Keep allowing it to reveal more to you. And then when he says, let's see, blessed will be they who have known me. So like Mary, she was able to ascend the 7 demons and gain the 7 powers, which are like the seven aspects of the shadow is an easy way to describe it. Like the archetypal aspects of the shadow, which once they are overcome are gained as powers. And so blessed are they who have known me, meaning the people who have learned what ascension is in the process and are following in Christ's footsteps to also ascend in their consciousness. Woe to those who have heard and not believed. So like I worry about you who have heard me and either haven't believed what I've said or are just not really doing anything about it. Like, I worry for you, because you're not going to ever find the kingdom of heaven. You're not going to find satisfaction, because you're always going to be short-circuiting. You're always going to be working against yourself, paddling upstream, self-defeating, self-sabotaging. You'll always be dissatisfied. You'll always be suffering. You'll always be looking for, what's next. And you'll never be satisfied and certain in the uncertainty. You have to be willing to be within the uncertainty and transcend that and know with all of your heart, or at least just a mustard grain seed of pure absolute faith and potential and deep certainty that transcends rationale, that everything can still play out in your highest good, no matter what the circumstances are. It's all an illusion. It's all an avatar. And the rule of the game is, like, it's according to, like, you are the creator of your reality, right? Do you believe it? Because every time, people were like, heal me, Jesus, he'd be like, all right, be well. And some people were like, okay, I am. And it's like, okay, I am. Like, be willing to be crazy, right? Be willing and just lean in and see what happens. Blessed will be they who have not seen, but have yet believed. So yeah, the whole thing in manifestation is that you have to see and be in a state of having something before you will receive it, right? So you have to be able to, like we said, be able to believe something and have faith in it before you see it. Because, like, what's there to lose? What are we going to be disappointed? Big whoop. Like, life's hard. It's always disappointing. Like, sometimes things work out, but, like, life's tough. Have you ever watched a nature show? That shit is for real. Let's see. Once again, I appeal to you. I am disclosed to you as I am building a house useful to you when you find shelter in it, and it will support your neighbor's house when theirs threatens to collapse. And this is like, okay, all of my teachings that I've given you are there to support you in your times of uncertainty. They are there to help you have a system or a structure built and put into place so that you can have something to lean on when you're feeling scared, when you're feeling insecure, when you're feeling like you want to react and you're feeling angry or whatever, and you want to be a reactive person and go beneath your divinity. And because when we're reactive, we're not consciously using our free will, which is our most divine power. So the house is something that can provide security and support and protection for you when you're in uncertain times, when your heart is hurting, when you're worried, when you are like frantic. it gives you something to anchor yourself and ground yourself in. And it also, like, when you are that person that's that stable, the people around you feel it too. And it affects those around you, but they also feel it. And then it helps them start to believe also, because they, like, maybe it was hard for them to believe at first, but because they were around your stability and strength and groundedness, it's contagious. And it can also comfort them as well. I tell you the truth, woe to those for whom I was sent down here, and blessed will be they who are going up to the Father. Meaning, it's like I worry for you and I feel bad for you, those who have had to come down and save, because you're not getting it. If you get it, then you realize that those who are coming up to the Father, it means that you take responsibility for your own consciousness, for your feelings, for your thoughts. And the work, it's up to you to sort of meet halfway. Like, there is an eternal beingness of love that is always available, but it is us that we have to, like, open up, because we close ourselves off to it. We look away from it. We get in despair. We get into moods. We get into moping. We get into victim mode. When we get into those lower states, we're like cutting ourselves off from the light. The light won't go there and hang out, so we have to be in a state, like, we can have emotions. We can be sad. We can be heartbroken. We can be angry, but we still have to have, like, almost like a fight, like a feistiness behind it. Like King David, King David was had just a backbone and a fire. And even when he was in despair and like in agony, he was not despondent, and if he was, it was momentary. And he was very, almost like, brazen with the way that he would demand and ask. So yeah, it's about, having sovereignty and being strong. Let's see. So go up to the Father, take initiative to evolve, to ascend, to figure out, to learn how to heal those aspects of the ego, and raise yourself up and reach up to the Father. Because if you don't do it, nothing will save you, because the universe is like this beautiful machine that it's like it runs on spiritual laws. Like gravity is a law that you can't do anything about. Like it's if you drop something, it will fall. Like there are spiritual laws that are the same, or the same idea. It's like if you behave this way, this thing will happen. There's cause and effect. Like there's no getting around it. There's nobody up there doing favors. It's just, it is what it is. Again, I warn you, you who exist, be like those who do not exist. You may dwell with those, that you may dwell with those who do not exist. And this, I think, is like talk, kind of like throwing a reference to that whole like Avatar. Like this is a Matrix, this is an Avatar. This is like kind of like a game, a simulation. This is virtual reality. Like it's all an illusion. And if we exist only here, then everything's gonna be like high stakes, because we don't think that there's anything beyond this. But if we know that this is the very temporary thing, that this is kind of the illusion, and that we have absolute control over this, when we tap into that like absolute knowing that we do, then that's when you are the person who doesn't exist. Like this isn't real, right? So be like the person who doesn't exist, who knows that this is all an illusion, because then you're in control again, or you have more control, or you have you have an edge knowing that you have no control. Control is an illusion. And okay, do not let heaven's kingdom become a desert within you. Do not be proud because of the light that enlightens you. Rather act towards yourselves as I myself towards you. Which is like you suck. Nobody's getting anything. F's all around. No, I'm kidding. So don't let heaven become a desert within you. Don't let it dry up. Don't let it be this one album that we play over and over again that never goes deeper, never expands. Keep letting that live within you and keep producing more fruit and generations of seeds and fruit. Don't be proud. Be humble. Be direct. Be honest with yourself. Be very honest. Call yourself out when you are wrong or when you are not as conscious as you could be. But yeah, I think be kind, be compassionate, be forgiving, be merciful, be understanding, but also be tough with yourself and push yourself out of your comfort zone and push yourself to stretch and keep at it and know that it's just like this daily practice that is just something to be continued and enjoyed. All right, guys, I am like barely getting words out anymore. I'm sure you can tell. I love ya. Hope you have a good night. May you be graced with light, love, and magic. Peace.